So now we will have a look at how we create a delivery in SAP. We will have a look at the two transactions, VL01N, which is the single, and the mass one, which is a VL10. For now, let's have a look at how we would create a delivery using the single. So I go to logistics, logistics execution, outbound delivery, and as you can see here, outbound processing, goods issue, outbound delivery, create, single. Whew, quite a lot. So VL01N with reference to a sales order. You have here VL01NO is without a single, without any reference. So I'm going to create one with a reference here. The first thing you see is the shipping point, which is on the sales order, and you have the selection date, which is actually representing of the material availability date on the sales order. So let's have a look at the sales order. And here's the sales order I've prepared. And as you can see here, under the shipping tab in the schedule line, the MAD date is on the 9th of September. So if I go back into the delivery selection, if I put the 9th here, press enter, and there you go, the quantity of 10 for this delivery. Now, just to prove that it uses that date, let's go back. Yeah, and if I put a date, let's say before the 9th, so the 8th, and I press enter, you notice that there's no schedule delivery up to the selected date. So that shows that it uses the schedule line or the MAD date for its selection process. So now let's have a look at the VL10 transaction. So if I go back out, still under the create menu, we have the collective processing, and as you can see here, you see all of the VL10 transactions. The VL10 A, B, C, D, E, and each one will process a different type of document. So let's have a look at the sales order VL10A. I'll double click on that, and as you can see right on the top, you have the shipping point to select the deliveries. Then you have the delivery creation date, which actually comes from, as we know, the scheduling, which calculates when the delivery must be created in order for it to be delivered on time. And then you have the delivery creation rule. Now this automatically populates a delivery creation date with either today, and tomorrow, all until this week, and it's great. You don't have to calculate, you can just have it as a variant. And leave the delivery creation date blank, and then based on the rule that you put in, the system will automatically calculate all the deliveries that you need to create. Now this works great if you have a batch job, especially in the background. It might be that you only want to create deliveries that have to be created today, or today and tomorrow, and this selection is driven by the business. When do they want to create the delivery, and for what date range? So it's always important to understand what the business requirement is. Then under the general data, you have various options like the delivery priority or shipping conditions. I just want to point out route. This is quite important here because route allows us to segregate different sales orders and create them at different times. For example, you might want to create a particular route first because it needs to go out first. Because you want that option to create the deliveries as late as possible, you might want to say this route needs to be shipped out first. I'll create this first, process them, then create the routes that can be shipped out later. So you create the deliveries as low as possible. Or for example, you can exclude return routes. This is a way to do it. Next, you have sales organization, so you can create deliveries based on sales organization. You have document types also, so it might be that you want to exclude return deliveries, return sales orders, or it might be that you want to create rush orders every single hour, for example. This is where you would, when you run the background job, you can put in the delivery types. And lastly, the goods issue date. So it might be that you want to say create all deliveries where it needs to be issued for today. In the sales order here, you have the document range, the sole two-party, but more importantly is the forwarding agent. So you might want to prioritize the creation of deliveries for a particular forwarding agent. Then you have the delivery block. Obviously you don't want to create sales or the deliveries with a particular delivery block. You have the plant here and the storage location, but I would usually use the shipping point instead. It's a little bit more better. Another one is partner function, if you ever want to create a delivery based on partner function. So let's go ahead, I'll execute this, and in this case, for this sales order, I want to create the delivery in background mode. We've seen how we create it in the foreground, so let's create one in the background. I click on the background mode, and SAP will go back, it would run through all of its script, its copy control, its checking, its configuration, and it would then create the delivery. So it has created the delivery here, and now if it's green means it's good. Now let's have a look at the document error messages, if there's any. Okay, so it says, oh, I've created one delivery with no errors. If I click on document, I can see the document number here, and if I click on the document flow here, I can then see the link between the sales orders and the delivery. So this means that the delivery has been created based on the sales order en masse. And in real life, in the business context, you would use this transaction to create or to select lots and lots of sales orders based on your selection parameter, and you would create all of the deliveries in one go, and usually as a background job. So it's important before you create the deliveries en masse to decide what is your selection parameter, to try to create the deliveries as late as possible. And so you would select all the sales